All right, guys. What we got here is a Jewish rabbi. Uh, and what this guy's saying is, I saw this. I saw this in another video another brother made. What this guy's saying is that they're gonna bring the coming of the Messiah by doing good and loving humanity and making the world a better place. That is what this Jewish rabbi is saying. That's the Jewish belief that they have, basically restoring Eden. They believe that by restoring Eden on the earth, that's gonna bring that's gonna bring their Messiah. That's gonna usher in their Messiah. Now, I saw this video from beginning to end. This guy does never mention once Jesus. Doesn't mention once Jesus from beginning to end. And Jesus says that things are going to get worse before he returns. A lot worse. So, this guy's talking about tikkun olam. And that's a phrase that Mr. Rogers used in one of his videos. Mr. Rogers there's something about him that doesn't rub me the right way, and he used that phrase tikkun olam, which leads me to believe that he's a believer of these teachings. Also, Mr. Rogers never ever mentioned Jesus Christ in any of his videos. So it shows that he believed in tikkun olam, making the world a better place to usher in the Messiah, which is a total antichrist teaching, because Jesus said that things are going to get much worse before he returns, which leads me to believe that this is antichrist teaching. Let's watch some of what he says.
To make that arrival more possible, by making the world better, by bringing about some bit of redemption in our own lives. Jews have understood that very well, partly because of the suffering and oppression that's been so much a part of our history. And therefore many Jews, even if they don't think of themselves as religious, don't know very much about the tradition, bear within them that sense of making the world a better place is something we have to do. We're very proud of the fact that many Jews, even if they see themselves as secular, have somehow deeply within them a sense that I have to work to make the world better. I have to work for more human decency, for more human rights, for more recognition of every human being as the image of God. That sense that we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, that sense that we know the soul of the stranger because we were oppressed, that sense that we have long been in exile and we have to help others redeem their worlds as we redeem ours, is a very deep part of the Jewish soul and the Jewish experience through our history.
Hold on. Let me back it up just a little bit when he talks about ushering in the Messiah with good works. Hold on. All right, so this is the part where he's going to tell you where by doing the good works that they do, by ushering in the Eden, they're gonna bring in. They believe that by doing all these good works and making the earth as it was in the time of Eden, that they're gonna usher in the Messiah. And he never mentions the word Jesus Christ here.
Other people, you do that by doing acts of goodness, acts of human kindness. Every time you do good, you are raising up some of that light, making the world a better place, bringing the presence of God into greater clarity in your life and in the lives of those around you, and bringing Messiah's arrival one one step closer. We have to do everything we can to make that arrival more possible by making the world better, by bringing about some bit of redemption in our own lives.
So he says that by bringing in the redemption and by making the world better, that's gonna bring in the Messiah. That's gonna usher in the Messiah. That's the Messiah that these Jews are waiting for. These are not messianic Jews. These are Jews that have their own traditions and their own teachings. These are traditional Jews that don't believe that Jesus Christ was God. These are the Jews that believe in this tikkun olam, which means that doing or restoring the world as it was in the time of Eden will usher in their Messiah. So these guys are anti-Christ. These are traditional Jews. These are like the Pharisees of old. These are like the people who crucified Jesus Christ. And this tikkun olam, this is redemption of the world or whatever. And that's the same stuff that Mr. Rogers was talking about in his videos. It came out of his mouth, tikkun olam, promoting traditional Jewish teachings, which are antichrist, because Jesus said that things are gonna get holistic. It's gonna be satanic. It's gonna be there's gonna be a tribulation before Jesus comes back. And this is not the teaching that they're teaching. They're teaching something which is contrary to Christ, which is antichrist. This is the video right here where it says Fred Rogers, tikkun olam. Let's watch it.
No matter what our particular job, especially in our world today, we all are called to be tikkun olam, repairers of creation. Thank you for whatever you do, wherever you are, to bring joy and light and hope and faith and pardon.
And the problem is not that they want to bring, everybody wants to bring hope and restoration. The problem is that it comes from where it comes from. It comes from these traditional Jews. And this is a very famous saying, tikkun olam, with them. And the whole thing behind this tikkun olam is to usher in the Messiah through good, or through restoration of the earth, through restoring earth as it was in Eden. And I didn't even know about this teaching or saying until I ran upon that one video about Fred Rogers and the whole tikkun olam. I had to go back and look at it myself, and it comes from a very antichrist background. This tikkun olam, and it's antichrist teaching, and Mr. Rogers knew about this. So it seems that he had a lot of support from these traditional Jews. These Jews that are trying to usher in their Messiah through the restoration of the world. And they were talking about law, like he's, look at him right next. This rabbi is right next to Fred Rogers. They're talking about giving people more laws, and which is great, but when you're trying to promote sin and antichrist teachings, not so good there, you know. When you're trying to merge different religions together against the teachings of Christ, then you got a problem. The whole problem that I have is, and it's real sketchy, is that Mr. Rogers never once mentioned Christ ever, and for some reason or another, he knew about this tikkun olam teaching or saying, which really is in itself antichrist, because it teaches the coming of the traditional Jewish Messiah through redemption of the earth, which we know that that's not going to happen. The beginning of redemption was when Christ died on the cross, and the total redemption is going to be his return in the end. These are two things that first rabbi didn't mention it in the beginning. It doesn't mention Christ ever or at all. And then Mr. Rogers never mentions Christ or Christianity at all, ever, in any of his videos. So what I want to say is, we have to be careful when the media tries to promote certain people, because they're trying to promote their agenda. So we have to be very careful. I don't think possibly Fred Rogers had good intentions, but we know that the word says that there's only one way to the Father, and that's Jesus Christ. And that's not what Fred Rogers was teaching. He was teaching other things. God bless you, brothers and sisters. Stay focused on Jesus.